Hello, and welcome to Old Ephraim Outdoors, your channel for outdoor adventure, emergency prepping, and homesteading. Now sit back and relax. Sponsored by Stranger Bridgerland Book Series, true paranormal stories, perfect for your next campfire outing.
Hey guys, it's author John Olson. I'm here again with another video and tips for being prepared, doing some emergency preparedness on a budget. So today I want to talk about how you're going to start to get your house ready and things that you need to work on. Now, again, today they talked about another balloon coming over the United States. In fact, it ended up over Utah when they finally found it. They don't know what they're doing the balloons with. There's all this talk of an EMP attack. There's talk of civil unrest with AT&T going down and it maybe being a cyber attack. I don't know. One thing is you want to make sure that you and your family you feel a little bit supported. You feel like you're ready for emergencies. On top of that, you have earthquakes, you have storms, you have other things too. You just want to be ready and be able to take care of your family, and it can be overwhelming. So my videos are about doing that on a budget and helping you out. First of all, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe, check them out. And as always, I'm always open for communication. If you guys think I said something that was stupid or you don't understand, shoot me a comment. Let's talk about it. Or what you would do that I missed. What did I miss? I'm not perfect, but these are some things that I have in my house with my family that we are going to get ready if we don't have already, and you know what we're going to need in an emergency. So the first thing is something we all learned about during the pandemic. It's toilet paper. That was the first thing to go off the shelf, which was really weird because they were like, "Don't run on toilet paper," and then all of a sudden it was all it was all gone. So it's important to just keep a good amount of that on hand. Buy more than you need throughout. Budget it in so that you have a good storage of them. Put them somewhere and then just rotate them. Not that toilet paper goes bad, but make sure you have plenty on hand to get you through a couple weeks if you need to or more. And so that's a big one that kind of is important for most of us, right? The second one you're going to think about is food. Now, food can be a little bit daunting too because many people just go off a budget week by week by week. They go buy the groceries that they need. And the biggest thing is these days, everything is right there on demand. Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, everything is right there at the store. But in case we're in an emergency, that stuff's going to be gone. So what you're going to want to do is have plenty of canned goods on stock. Now, what you want to do with that is rotate them through. You have the new stuff in front, old stuff goes in the back. Couple things to think about. Can of soup isn't very much, so you want to keep those and rotate through them. Um, a can of vegetables is usually $1. Like if you go to Walmart, they'll have them on for $1. Keep them, rotate through them as well if you can. A couple things to remember about cans. If it's tomatoes or if it's fruit, because there's so much acid in there, they generally only last about 18 months. However, if you do vegetables and if you do meats, they will generally last you up to about 5 years. But if you're rotating things through, you don't have to worry about that. But just make sure you have plenty on stock. Now, the other thing is dried goods, dried food. My wife and I are going to do a video. It'll be the next video out where we're going to take some of these um, uh, dehydrated foods and try them out. See which ones taste better and which one goes better, and price them. But I have a few here that I want to talk about. So ReadyWise is ones that you can buy at Walmart. They are 2.5 servings, have plenty of 35 grams of protein in them. They work, just like everything else. It's dehydrated, so it simply just goes into boiling water, or you boil it in water. And these are going to run you between $7 and $9. You can even catch them on sale sometimes. So not too expensive if you buy a couple of these every time you go grocery shopping, or even get one every time until you're stocked up with them. And they will last 5 years. They have a 5-year life shelf. So again, you're going to want to make sure when it gets time, rotate them out and get a couple more. But the other one that's kind of big, I just have two that I usually talk about, and that's Peak Fuel. Now, this one's huge with campers, hikers and campers and hunters, because it's got really great branding. This one has a little bit more protein in it, and it's 2 serving. Again, just hot water, and it lasts 5 years. The only downside, this one's going to run you between $13 and $17. This one's going to run you between $13 and $17, so it's a little bit more expensive. And again, my wife and I are going to do taste test, and I'll bring my 17-year-old in on the taste test, because we know, I want to say he's picky, but he eats a lot at 17, so whatever. But we'll do a taste test with a couple different ones to find out if the more expensive is worth it or not. But on a budget, there you go. The other one is this Augustin Family 72-hour pack that you can get at Walmart. This has meals for one person for 72 hours. 72-hour kit. So you'll need one of these for each one of your family members. However, again, dehydrated food, just hot water. But the biggest thing is it's only $15 for this whole kit. So that's one person, 72 hours, $15. You just pick up one here and there. Don't have to buy everything at once, but add it into your budget. When you go grocery shopping, okay, this week I'm going to grab one of these. Next week I'll grab one of these and another one of those. Make sure the cans. But these are great for 72 hours to make sure you have the food that you need to eat in an emergency. Now, you're going to want to have water to boil that. So, a couple things on this. I like to have a couple 5-gallon jugs of water and a couple tablets if I need to. If I keep them rotated every 6 months, I fill them, drain them, fill them, wash them, and then put them back. 5 gallons is going to last one person for that 72 hours. Now, you might need more later, and we'll talk about that in a second, but it's good to have about 5 gallons for each person as you go through, in case the water supply gets contaminated or inaccessible. Okay. The other thing is, as well, everybody has a hot water heater. Most. Sometimes you're getting the inline hot water heaters are coming in, getting more popular. But if you have a water heater in your house, it's going to have between 40 and 80 gallons in it. Make sure you know how to get into it and get that water in an emergency. Now, every water heater is different, so it's important for you to find out and even have a plumber come and look at it to find out, hey, if I need to access this water, how do we do it? Just ask a plumber that. He'll go through it with you, but that is one place that you can gather that water. Okay. Another thing that everybody needs is medication, whether it's Tylenol, ibuprofen, or the older you get, the more medication you have. So it's important to have some of that on hand, but how do you do that? So they usually send your medication a little early so you have it at least 90 days of your supply of the medication that you need. And then you also want to, of course, keep whatever Tylenol, ibuprofen, anything that you would normally need, you want to keep an extra supply of that. Just keep it in your closet. And again, like say, if you take, pills to sleep every once in a while, or antacids every once in a while, or over-the-counter medicine for allergies, keep a couple of those on hand and then just rotate them through, just like you do the cans as well. The next thing is gas. Gas in your vehicle is really important. You want to have at least 3/4 of a tank in your car at all times. A lot of people I know like to run on a quarter of a tank, and then as soon as the light comes on, they're like running to get it. And sometimes you guys who have wives know that your wife will run it empty almost, and then you got to put gas in it. That's no diss, is just so that's how it happens. What you want to do is fill up your car, and then once it gets to a quarter of a tank, you fill it up again. Never let it be between get below 3/4 of a tank. And the reason is, in any emergency, the first thing everybody's going to do is run to the gas station. And you don't want to be one of those guys that is running to the gas station in a time of crisis because you're down to less than a quarter of a tank. If you need to, whatever you need to do, evacuate, get things, find your kids, whatever it is you got to do, you want to make sure you have that in your car at all times. And it takes discipline to do, I know. So talk with your family about that too. The other thing with gas, I like to keep 5 or 10 gallons of gas in storage and rotate through those with my my lawnmower or my snowblower, because what you want to do is have at least that much gas on hand for your generator, which is the next thing I want to talk about. Electrical generators can run you anywhere from $700 up to quite a bit. Now, some people worry about having a generator and some people don't. I like to tell people that it's something definitely worth saving up for and having in an emergency, because you're going to need power for different things to run different things, whether it's your furnace or stove or something like that, if you absolutely need to. For me, I live up in the rural part of my county, and I'm on a tank. I am on a well. And so on that well, if I don't have electricity, I don't have water. So it's important. I have to have a generator that's big enough that will run, and it's hooked up, which you can talk to a electrician about, having it hooked up to your home so that you can turn it on when there's no power, because you want to be able to run. For me, it's my well, it's my furnace. There's a few other things that I want to be able to run just in case, and have enough gas to get you through 72 hours or more. And again, everybody's going to have different needs with that. So look at what your needs are, what you want to do, and then start saving for that, because it's kind of a bigger thing that is also really important. So another thing that you want to do is have, I like to have one of these buddy heaters. It's called a buddy heater. I have it because I do a lot of ice fishing, and camping, and it's great for heating up a tent. It's great for heating up small spaces. And you got to make sure it's the buddy heater that's safe for indoors. There's outdoors and indoors. You have to have one that's safe for indoors. The reason is you don't want to suffocate yourself. If you do the wrong one, you're going to get carbon monoxide poisoning, and die. Don't do that. That's bad. These run off of the little green cylinders. Again, just put that on your list. Buy a couple now and again so that you have a good stock of them in your home, so you can heat up when you need to, heat a room where you're all going to sleep if you have to. Again, all depending upon what size your home is. You can also boil water on that, which will allow you, to cook your dehydrated food. They on those buddy heaters, you can build or have a little shelf that goes on the top right there. You're totally able to boil water, have something to eat with your dehydrated food. Okay. A couple other things you're going to want to have: plenty of batteries on hand for your headlamps, flashlights, whatever else you might need batteries for. And again, rotate through them. I'm going to say rotate through them a lot, because batteries will go bad. And the one thing you want to know where they are, because if your power goes out, or if there's something that goes out at night, you want to be able to know where it is, find it. It's good to have a headlamp in your nightstand. It's also good to have a good pair of shoes within reach of your bed. And you might say, that's weird. If you have an earthquake and broken glass everywhere, you want to be able to access some shoes. So have those handy, just some underneath your nightstand, because if it happens at night, you don't want to be walking through broken glass. Okay. Um, you want to make sure that you have enough ammunition for whatever you have on hand to protect your family, to hunt, all of those kind of things. Again, something you can rotate through. Here, I've always got plenty of shotgun shells because, in my mind, a shotgun is like a computer. It's just point and click, and it's very easy to teach somebody how to defend your home with a shotgun, where a pistol may take a lot of practice in order to become proficient with. Shotguns are perfect with being able to teach your family how to defend, hunt. I am a big proponent of shotguns when it comes to that. I know it's a horribly touchy subject, but I'm going to get into it in another video about self-defense and taking care of your family in that way. Okay? It's also important for you to have some cash on hand. Everything is done with your bank card, credit card, Venmo, everything like that. Very few people have cash on hand. If for whatever reason the system crashes, and that could be part of an EMP attack or a cyber attack, you need cash in order to make any transactions. I suggest $300 at least, and then go from there depending upon how you feel. The more prepared you are, the less you'll need it, but you still may need cash on hand. Make sure you have cash on hand, okay? Um, Again, a medical kit. I like to have one in my pack. I like to have one in at least one in my house, and then one in each car. Medical kits will be great for helping you, and depending upon how comfortable you feel, it can be anywhere from Band-Aids for everybody, all the way up to sewing kits for major injuries, splints, tourniquets, and I would suggest also, on top of this, is to take some classes on emergency medical to find out how to do CPR, how to handle wounds. All of these things are really kind of important so that at least one person in your family knows how to take care of things in a trauma situation. Obviously, you're not going to want to pull out a knife and take out an appendix. Nobody's, unless you have a doctor there. But there's simple things like being able to take care of wounds, dress wounds, address broken arms when you're not going to be able to, get to medical real quick. These are all things that are so important. I'm also going to do some videos on that as well. Teach you where to find out that information and taking those class. Okay. So that's a good sample of what you kind of would like to have in your house for 72 hours or maybe a little bit longer. And that's a good place to start with getting food, water, alcohol, those things that I've mentioned to, make sure that you feel comfortable if an emergency comes and how you're going to take care of that. I almost guarantee that there's going to be things out there too that you're going to need that I'm not thinking about. So think about your everyday life. That's what I like to do. Walk around for a week with a notebook. And if it's something that you found you need or your family needs and will need in an emergency or everyday use, that write it down and add that to your list. It's just like a bug out bag. It's very personal to every individual. There's different things that different individuals need. So same with your home. Make sure that you know what you need on top of these basics things that I've talked about so that you can work on it. And another thing is, especially with little kids, teenagers, talk about it. Have a family meeting. Sit down and say, hey, if we have an emergency and you're at school, where should we meet? Or how should you get home? Should you try and come home? Should you just wait for dad or mom to come and get you? Younger kids, you might say, hey, just stay where you are and we will come to you, obviously. Your older kids, you might say, in certain circumstances, you're going to try and meet us at home or we're going to have to come and get you. It all really depends. Same with If I'm at work, how am I going to get home to my kids? How am I going to, it's an emergency plan set up that everybody understands and they've gone through, so it's automatic when it comes to that point. Okay, this is an emergency. Dad told me to do this. I'm going to do this. Okay. And again, the more repetitive it is, you're not going to try and scare your kids, especially if they're younger, but knowledge is power. And for teenagers, I always go through with my kids. My youngest is 17 now, and I've tried to teach them the things that they would need to survive, to get home and where to go. And if you have a kid that's driving age, make sure he or she knows how to change a tire, right? These are all important things, and teach them to have a pack in their car, emergency pack, and the things that they need to do so that they can be safe. This has been a video that I wanted to do to help you get started on taking care of your family at home in an emergency so that you can feel confident, your family can feel confident in case of any emergency. Okay? Appreciate you guys. Send me comments. Let me know what I missed. Should give me a shout out, and like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.